So these are the topics which we are going to discuss. You know, this is a topic of the week, right? Because so much of controversy happened with respect to this. Then Aditya L1, what is it and all we'll discuss. Child marriage, there is a report. This is most important in terms of mains. Okay, and this is a recent report given, and we will see this in terms of environment. Okay, so you know the syllabus mapping, right? I need not mention, I guess, but anyway I'll explain. This is part of IR. This is SNT in GS3. This is GS2, right? Child marriage, GS1 society. Okay, this is environment again, GS3. Prithvi Vignan scheme, SNT, as well as GS3, economy and development. Okay, so schemes and anything. Carbon border adjustment tax, environment, GS3 again. Supreme Court Legal Services Committee, GS2. Wetland accreditation, GS3 again, environment. Pravasi Bhartiya Divas, GS2, because this is a scheme aimed at connecting diaspora. If you see IR syllabus, there is a mention of Indian diaspora. Okay, so that is another thing. And the last topic is World Heritage Committee. Okay, this is most important for prelims. Okay, part of art and culture. So we'll start without any further delay. You know, most important topic of this week is India and Maldives. Okay, so you might have come across this in newspapers or different channels, right? So what is the issue about? Anyone, can you briefly explain what actually happened, what or the sequence of events that happened? Yes, anyone who is following newspaper? Okay, yes. PM visit to? Maldives President is visiting China. So these two happened. Yes, China and Turkey also. Okay. So Maldives President's visit. This also coincided with this. Okay. And then what happened? Yes, means he shared some pics of that Lakshadweep tour, so that he wants to promote tourism in Lakshadweep. Okay. Then what happened? Yes. So 3 Maldivian deputy ministers, they made some derogatory remarks against Prime Minister, and also they undermined potential of Lakshadweep. Okay. So that is what Maldives ministers made some statements. Then what happened? Three ministers got suspended, right? That means social media war also happened, means Indian and famous Indian personalities also started retaliating. Okay, so why you are making comments again all, and we have some hashtags also. What are those? Dignity first and boycott Maldives. Okay. Yes, explore Indian islands also. Yes, good. So these are some hashtags which we have seen. Then what happened? These got suspended. Okay, 3 ministers got suspended. Then what happened? Yes. MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, has summoned Maldives High Commissioner. Why I am using the word High Commissioner? Commonwealth, because India and Maldives both form part of Commonwealth. What is Commonwealth? Those countries which are ruled by British. Okay, those are Commonwealth. So both Maldives and India are Commonwealth countries. That is why we use the term High Commissioner. But for other countries you will use Ambassador. Okay, that is the difference you need to know. So it has issued summons to Maldives High Commissioner, and Indian Ambassador, so Indian High Commissioner was also summoned there. Okay, then what happened? That means India's asked, like Indians are also now showing their interest to explore Indian islands like Lakshadweep or any other thing. But what China is, Maldives is requesting China, because if Indian tourists drop down, okay, then what happened? It has to be balanced, right? Because these islands, like if you see Sri Lankan crisis, why Sri Lankan crisis happened in 2021? Because of COVID-19, no? After COVID-19 lockdown and all, there is decline in tourism. Tourism is a mainstay for these island countries. So whenever tourism is in decline, so their economy also gets impacted. In the same way, Maldives is also now taking course correction measures because they wanted that to be balanced with China. Okay, you know, in Maldives, the political equations are very different. So once pro-Indian government, once anti-Indian government or pro-Chinese government, like that, they are shifting their paths. Because of this, there is a change in stand between India and Maldives also. So we are going to discuss entirely. So these are the events you know, right? Although these are not important, but you need to know the sequence of events that happened, okay? So you know India, right? India is having maritime boundary with two countries. Maritime means with Sri Lanka and there is Maldives, okay? Maritime boundaries with these two countries, and you know it is very proximate to Lakshadweep group of islands, okay? So Lakshadweep islands is very important, and this 9-degree channel is also so much important, okay? So when you are reading this, you have to link with geography also, okay? Because when some area of conflict is in news, UPSC can focus on those areas. Previously, if you know, previously when there are straightforward questions, they have asked 10-degree channel is separating. But we don't expect these type of questions in the recent times, because when competition is increasing, UPSC also increases its toughness and complexity in the questions, right? So same way. So here you have to know what is 8-degree channel, what is 9-degree, 10-degree, and the locations of these things is very important, okay? So we will be discussing these in detail. Here you have to know this is very close to Lakshadweep. So this is what you know, okay? Lakshadweep we will discuss in detail. So these are a group of islands, how it became part, and all these things we are going to discuss. So you know, because of this suspension, it was so much in news, okay? So now what we will see is, you know, he went mainly to inaugurate some island related things, submarine project, okay? So why? Because if you see, the main intention behind this particular visit is Lakshadweep is very unexplored, okay? So often if you see, although Maldives and Lakshadweep are having same type of geographical things and all, but still we are not exploring Lakshadweep because of lack of infrastructure or developmental projects. So this marine project, the submarine optical project, is aimed at developing connections, okay, Wi-Fi connections and all. If there is no Wi-Fi, can you visit Lakshadweep? No, right? Okay, whenever you visit, you need Wi-Fi, mobile data and all these things, right? So for these things, and also for developing digital India, telemedicine, all these things, for these things the project is aiming, and for those things Prime Minister visited Lakshadweep. Then you know these things happened, okay? Then this is the main thing you have to remember, submarine optical fiber connection. Although it is not important, but you need to know it is mainly enhancing government services and digital India initiatives, okay? So this is very important. They can ask you which is the fund that is sponsoring this type of activities, okay? Anything, like if you remember, in the recent times only BharatNet project also was launched. If you have remembered, even in rural areas also we want to enhance Wi-Fi connections, broadband, no? So that main intention is this BharatNet program, okay? Even this is also sponsored by this fund, Universal Service Obligation Fund. So for these reasons it is in use. So it is very important for you to remember, okay? Under Department of Telecommunications, okay? And you know BSNL is the implementing agency for this project, okay? So these things you have to keep in mind. Then you know Kavaratti Island, what is the importance of this? It is the administrative capital of Lakshadweep, okay? So how many states and union territories are there at present? 28, very good, 28 states and 8 or 9? 8 or 9? 8 only, no? Why? I remember that Telangana was the 29th state, right? Then why we have only 28? That means one was removed from here, okay, and added here. Then it should be increased, no? That is what, okay? They got clubbed, okay? So Daman Diu and this got merged, that is why Dadra Nagar Haveli. So you have only 8 union territories at present, okay? And Lakshadweep is one of the union territory, okay? So when you are referring, just remember what is a change in administration, okay? So you know how the states are administered and how UTs are administered. Although it is not directly related, but just when you are going through, because you are focusing on a union territory, understand how the or you can remember what is the balance of power, how it is changing in a state and union territory. Because in a state, you know, state is having state government run by the chief executive or the state executive, no, chief minister and the ministers. So they are ultimately powerful, okay? They are aiding the governor, who is mainly responsible for running the state. But in a UT, It is a central government, okay. So central government entirely is responsible, and who is taking the job here? Administrator will be appointed by the president, okay. So in case if a law has to be passed, there is no state assembly for most of the states, union territories, right. For only two you have. What is those two union territories? Delhi and Puducherry. Only for these two you have legislative assemblies to pass laws for any union territory. But for others, who have to make laws? Parliament, okay. Parliament will make laws. So for these union territories, in this way you just remind yourself, okay. Then what happens? Okay. Then do all these union territories have high courts?
No.
How many UTs have high court? How many high courts are there at present? 20? 3 only. Are you sure? 24. Whether you updated Telangana High Court or no? Previously we have common High Court for Andhra and Telangana, right? But now 25 High Courts we have, okay? So, and you know, only union territory with a High Court is Delhi. Puducherry, although it is having assembly, but it is not having High Court, okay? Do remember that. In Lakshadweep, it will fall under which High Court then? Kerala, okay? So that is what, because it is geographically closer to know. So if anyone want to file a case, they have to file in Kerala High Court. This is what you have to remember, okay? Although it's not right. Then here you have to remember, this is a capital, and you know, this is almost 360 kilometers from the state of Kerala, okay? So here, this is one of the city identified as part of Smart Cities Mission, you know. This was launched in 2015, okay, to enhance the infrastructure and other things. So it is one of the city in that particular thing. So you know, you have to know Lakshadweep Islands, okay. So you know, it is located on the west coast in Arabian Sea, right, okay. But if you remember, this Lakshadweep Islands, they were not part of mainland, no, okay. So how they became part of India is very important, okay. So if you have to know, when India got independence, okay, at that point of time, you know, 552 princely states were there, right. 549 showed their interest to join India, and 3 showed reluctance, and we have launched different ways to make them integrated into India, right. Okay, at that point of time, if you see, Lakshadweep originally, like if you see the location also, if this is India, it is located here, right. That means here you have Arabic countries, right. Okay, we used to have trade with Arabic countries. So if you want to trade like this also, southern part, because you know, even Vasco da Gama, when he came in 1498 also, he first visited Lakshadweep, okay, before coming to Kerala. Means these Arabic people are also coming through this route only. So because of this, this Lakshadweep became a land for Islamic people, okay. So who came through this route, they got settled in this particular area. In that way, Islam came to Lakshadweep around 700s AD only, okay. So that means main people of Lakshadweep belong to Islamic religion, okay. That is what you have to remember. Then what happened? At that time, we focused only on mainland princely states, okay. We didn't focus on Lakshadweep and all. But what happened is, Pakistan wants to take Lakshadweep into their control because it is of Muslim dominated area, right. So they wanted to control India. If Pakistan is having say over this, then it can watch what is going through India and all, right. For these reasons, Pakistan shown interest. Then what happened? Sardar Patel, he came to know that Pakistan is ready to take over Lakshadweep. So instead of Pakistan, he readily sent, okay. So here whatever the Kerala princes and kings are there, for them, he asked them to take over Lakshadweep. So immediately Indian army was rushed here, and we have hoisted our flag. Otherwise, Lakshadweep could be part of Pakistan. In this way, it became part in 1947 itself, okay. Then what happened? At that time, we made it part of Madras presidency initially, okay. Initially, it became part of Madras. Then what happened? In 1956, we made it part of Kerala, okay. In 1956 only, from November 1st, we made it as a union territory, okay. So this is what you have to remember. In 1956, it became as a union territory, and you have to know, because most of the states have also got their form in 1956 November 1st only, even Andhra Pradesh also previously, if you remember, okay. So this is what you have to remember. And you know, Lakshadweep are entirely what type of islands? Coral islands, right? Okay. In the previous class, we have discussed, in case if mid-Atlantic ridges or oceanic ridges come out, what they form? They form islands, right? Okay, that means, for example, if you see on the other side we have Andaman and Nicobar, but Andaman and Nicobar are volcanic in nature, means because of volcanic activity those are formed. But in case of Lakshadweep, it is not due to volcanism, it is coral, okay, coral origin. Coral means what? What is coral reefs? Have you seen the picture of coral reef any time? Recently, that the Prime Minister also visited, no? When he visited scuba diving and all, we have seen the pictures, right? Yes or no? Corals are what? Marine organisms which live in symbiotic relationship with, yes, zooxanthellae, okay. This is a type of algae, okay. So what is the symbiotic relation? Symbiotic means win-win situation, okay. You have to know commensalism, amensalism, you know these things, right? Okay, predator type of thing and all. So symbiotic relationship means here zooxanthellae is providing food to the corals, corals are providing shelter to the zooxanthellae. In that way both are getting benefit, okay. So that is why if you see coral bleaching is also so much in use. That means if this zooxanthellae is not there, then what happens? Corals will not get their food. Okay, if they don't get their food, then what happens? They will bleach, means they will turn into white, okay. So if there is no food, they turn into white, coral bleaching happens, that means coral will die, okay. So zooxanthellae's presence is important. So why zooxanthellae is not present in these recent times? Because increase in temperatures, okay, more fresh water or saline water, nutrient rich water, there are certain conditions for survival of corals, right. So when these things are reversed, okay, then zooxanthellae is dying, because of which coral bleaching is happening, okay. So in India, where do you find corals? Lakshadweep. Sundarbans you have corals, know that you are getting confused with mangroves. Yes, Gulf of Mannar, you know Tamil Nadu coast you have, right, Andaman and Nicobar, and Gulf of Kutch, Gujarat coast, okay. So do identify these things, okay, it is very important. And what are the criteria for survival of corals is also very important, okay. So ideal temperature is 22 to 25 degrees centigrade only. More than this is not feasible for corals to survive, okay. So they should have, and they only live in shallow waters, not in deep, because they need to get sunlight, right, okay. If sunlight is there, then only algae can photosynthesize and it can prepare food, right, okay. So in deep waters, corals cannot survive, okay. If you see, most of the corals and all the corals we see in India are hard water corals, okay. Corals are nothing but calcium carbonate, okay. So the skeletons formed after this is very hard, but in some countries like Norway we find soft corals also, okay, but not in India. And you know corals, because of this temperature, most of the corals are located some 10 degrees above or below of equator itself, okay. So within this range only, otherwise in the northern areas we don't find much corals like what we have here, okay. And also nutrient rich water is harmful for corals, okay. Sediment free water should be there, and also there should not be much of polluted waters, these type of things, okay. So anything global warming, tourism or human interventions, all these things will trouble corals, okay. So if you have recently seen, I think in 2022 there is a question on corals, okay, because first time we started artificially building reefs, on that only there is a question in 22 prelims, okay. They have asked the technology behind, what is the technology behind coral reefs and all, okay. So because in Gujarat, in an artificial way we have built for the first time coral reef, okay, not naturally. And you have to know what is the largest reef in India, entire world? Great Barrier Reef, right, in Australia, okay. So those things you have to remember. And what are the types of coral reefs? Yes, barrier reef, fringing reef, and you have atolls, okay. So these are the main types of things. And Lakshadweep, what are these two, you know? Barrier reefs are those which will be attached to the coast, okay. Fringing reefs means they will be separated from the coast, but they will be parallel to the coast, okay. Atolls means Lakshadweep belongs to these type of things. Atolls means circular based or ring shaped reefs, those are called atolls. Okay. So if you see, these are all mostly atolls only. You can see here 12 atolls and 3 reefs are there. So this is the smallest union territory you have to remember, okay, in terms of area. And you know, name itself Lakshadweep means a group of lack of islands, Dweep you can say. It became union territory in 1956, this is what you have to remember. Then easternmost island, and these things you need not know. Out of 36, only 10 are inhabited. Okay, that means people are living only on 10 islands. So this is what you have to remember. Okay, this is Maldives. If you see, it is above the equator. Okay, almost closer to the equator. That is why it enjoys tropical climate. Okay, this is what you have to remember. And you can see all these are also atolls. Even Lakshadweep also, as I told you. Okay, then political relations between India and Maldives. Okay, you know, as both are colonized by British only, but it got independence in 1965, Maldives. Okay, at that time India was the first country to recognize Maldives. Okay, then you know these two are members of SAARC. Okay, because we have discussed in the other day, right? SAARC means all the South Asian countries, and these are all the countries which border India, right? Yes or no? Okay, and what is the code I told you? MBBS Spain, right? Here MBBS means I told you M is not for Myanmar, because Myanmar is Southeast Asian country. Okay, here M means Maldives and here S means Sri Lanka. Okay, these two are maritime boundaries, and other these countries, 6 countries are sharing land boundaries with India. This is what you have to remember. Okay, so they are part of SAARC and also South Asian Free Trade SAFTA. This is dysfunctional now, it is not so much in function. And also we are having membership in UN, Commonwealth, NAM. What is NAM? Non-aligned movement. Okay, so why was this launched? When it was launched? 1950s or 60s? 50s. What is the reason behind this? Which blocks? Either USA or USSR. Okay, so these two, we don't want to join either of these, we want to be neutral. Okay, so non-aligned movement. Which are all the countries involved in establishing this? If you have remembered the names? India, Indonesia, Egypt, Ghana, Yugoslavia, 5 countries. Okay, these are founding members of NAM. And you have SAARC. Okay, so when you are studying in IR, do remember these things. Okay, if you are reading any neighboring countries or any bilateral relations, then you have to remember India and that country is part of which grouping. Okay, so when you write a point, these two share membership in these groupings and all, you will get extra marks. Okay, you have to include many dimensions in it. Okay, so then what is important of India and Maldives relations? You know neighborhood first policy, right? Okay, this was launched in 2014 itself. Okay, when present government came into picture. So for first time when Prime Minister is taking his oath, at that time he invited all the members of SAARC or neighbors to his oath. That means he underlined neighborhood first policy. Okay, in 2014. So this is also part of neighborhood first policy. And you know, India was the first responder to Maldives in different situations. You know, Operation Cactus. Okay, when was this launched? 1988. Okay, so in this way you have to write. When you are writing or reading about any country and bilateral relations here, you have to include political dimensions, you have to write economic, you have to write defense. Okay, you have to write if any security related things or in groupings in which they have membership. In this way you have to include. Okay, so if you are including multiple dimensions, then you will be awarded more marks. Okay, don't just limit your answer. In 1988 what happened? There is a ruling government in Maldives. Okay, and opposition government wants to overthrow that ruling government, and at that time what happened? You know, LTT is there, right? Liberation of Tamil Tiger Seelam. Okay, that is operating in Sri Lanka at that point of time, if you remember. So this gave support to the opposition party in Maldives to overthrow ruling government. Okay, so immediately ruling government asked Indian government to support. Okay, because India always support democracy, right? Already that government in power is elected by the people itself. So opposition party with the help of some separatist movements and all cannot overthrow. So that is a violation of democratic rights. So that is why Indian government has sent army to stop that particular overthrow or military coup type of thing. Okay. So that was named as Operation Cactus. Okay. In this way we have supported, and India was the first to support when 2004 tsunami happened, you know. At that time we supported Maldives by sending some aid, and you know, water crisis also happened in 2014. You know, this Maldives, although it is an island, it doesn't have much fresh water sources, okay. So it has to desalinize ocean water and it has to then use it for drinking and other purposes, okay. So in 2014 all the plants of desalinization went, okay, there was some error and they couldn't function at that time. Severe water crisis happened in Maldives. At that time we supported by giving water also, okay. Through different carriers they have supported, they have transported water there. And you know, even Operation Sanjeevani means we have supported them by giving COVID-19 vaccines, and measles also we have given vaccines in 2020, okay. If you remember, measles is one of the disease listed under universal immunization program. What we call this? Mission Indradhanush is there, right? It is also part of this, okay. So when you are reading these things, understand whether it is caused by bacteria or virus, okay, what is the mode of transmission and all, because when something is coming in the news, okay, so they can ask a question on causing agent and all. India is declared free of which vaccine, which diseases? Smallpox, polio. Is India declared polio free? Yes, no? In 2014 itself, okay. So these things, and India is a net security provider. You know, SAGAR means security and growth for all. That is a call given by the Prime Minister, okay. In the maritime area, security and growth for all. And in the defense cooperation, you know, we have these things, Dosti, Ekta and Operation Shield. Ekuviran is the bilateral exercise between India and Maldives, okay. So if there is any exercise, you need to write those things. And Greater Malay Connectivity Project is also launched between India and Maldives, and in India also given some helicopters, okay. These helicopters were also given by India, and you know, India Out campaign happened, okay. This is what, okay, India Out means even the present president of Maldives in his election campaign, he said we wanted to reverse, because previously what the government done, they gave a call for India first policy, means we wanted to give first priority to India than any other country. But the present president said we wanted to reverse this, we wanted to go for India Out campaign, because the present government is pro-China, okay. And Chinese factor is also increasing in the Indian Ocean, okay. You know what is this BRA? Belt and Road Initiative. So what is this initiative aimed at? Developing infrastructure projects, right, okay, in maritime and as well as land. So you know string of pearls theory, right? This is what, okay, you can see this is string of pearls. So they wanted Gwadar port, you know, for this only what we have done to counter this, what India has done. Chabahar port, where is it? Here only, okay. So it is very close. Here you was like you can be asked a question. This will open into Gulf of Oman, okay. Chabahar port opens into Gulf of Oman. So this is a Gwadar port in Pakistan, you know, Hambantota port, okay, in Sri Lanka, Malay in Maldives, you know, these are the this is a port in Myanmar, and you have Cambodia in this way. So string of pearls means they wanted to lock India, okay, by connecting different ports and projects. This is what string of pearls routes, okay. Then what is this India Out plan? This is a present president call, okay, and you know, in the recent times there is a Colombo Security Enclave also. So which are all countries part of this? India, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Mauritius, okay. So these 4 countries are maintaining this Colombo Security Enclave, because Indian Ocean region is very important for these 4 countries, okay. So but Maldives did not participate in the recent summit, okay. That means they don't want collaboration with India, okay. They have reflected this sign in this also, and also they vote to change this India first policy given by his predecessor, okay. Next you can see also Maldives did not renew this pact, hydrographic cooperation agreement, which was to be expired in this year's June. Okay, so that was also not again subsequently revived. You can see India's reaction. India said we are ready for engagement. Okay, but it is up to them, and they wanted China. Okay, because China is developing naval base in Maldives, so we wanted to counter by encouraging more participation. Here, you know, India first policies, previous governments. Okay, Ibrahim Soli, because he wanted to reverse this anti-Indian policies of Yamin, who is in power between 2013 and 18. Okay, so after him, this person came, pro-India. Again, now pro-China. Okay, in this way the relations changed. So why it is important? Geo-economic significance means for trade, because location is very important, right? If China is having presence here, it becomes hinder for India, okay, to trade with Arabic and European countries. Geopolitical significance, politically, because it is neighborhood country. Okay, so we want it to be in the hands of India, okay, or to listen to the terms of India. Then security significance also, okay, because if you see security significance, Maldives is Muslim dominated country again. Okay, radicalization, and you know, previously Islamic State also shown its presence in Maldives. Okay, if such things happens, it becomes a security threat for India also, radicalization and all. Indian diaspora also, okay, because you know, almost 2 to 2.5 lakh Indians are visiting Maldives every year. Okay, that is contributing to their economy also. So if they don't want India to be their side, it is up to them. Okay, we are not going to suffer a lot, they are going to suffer. Okay, then challenges, political challenges you have because of changing government and all, changing stand, radicalization, growing Chinese influence, string of pearls we have seen, climate change. So Maldives, if any climate change happens, they are not in a position to survive also, but they are going to take the help of China, not taking the help of India. So that is not advisable. So this is what, okay. So any doubts as what we have discussed now? Okay. And here, as I have shown you, here you can see this 9-degree channel is very important, I told you, right? Okay, so 8-degree channel separates India and Maldives. Okay, this is what you have to note. 9-degree channel will separate Minicoy Island from rest of the Lakshadweep. Okay, so if India explores this 9-degree channel route, we can bypass this 8-degree channel, and even if China increases its presence, we can use this route for trade and all. Okay, this is why this 9-degree channel is also in use. Okay, Indian government wants to focus more on this. And 10-degree channel, you know, it separates Andaman and Nicobar, right? Here you have Andaman and Nicobar, so it is separating this. Okay, and what about 38-degree parallel? It separates North and South Korea. Okay, that is what you have to remember. Yes, so the next topic we are going to discuss is Aditya L1. So why we need to discuss about this? What are important things in space this year? Chandrayaan 3, Aditya L1 and Gaganyaan. Okay, because we are going to launch Gaganyaan in 2024. Okay, so we have already conducted some trials. Okay, so how many trials we have conducted? Unmanned missions we planned. Okay, Vyomitra is to be sent next time, then manned mission will be launched. Okay, so that is Gaganyaan. But what is the specific thing with respect to Aditya L1? What is this L1 mean? Lagrange point. What is meant by this Lagrange point? Between whom? Equilibrium means between whom? Sun and Earth. Okay. Gravity will be balanced. That's it. Okay. So why Aditya L1 is very important? Because first time we have sent a mission to Sun. Okay, that is not going to land on Sun. Don't use the words landing on the Sun and all. It is not that easy. Okay, but we are going closer to the Sun to study about Sun. Okay, so Sun's atmosphere. Then you can also like have a question, right? So can't we do that from Earth itself? Why? Yes, very good. Because you know, humans like Earth's atmosphere is having lot of hindrances. Okay, eclipse can be there, or you know, ultraviolet rays are blocked because of natural like shields we have. No, Earth, you know, there is ozone layer and all these are protecting the earth. So if you want to study from the earth, that is not proper, okay. We can study, but all the details what we get is not accurate, okay. So that is why we are going to place in one position, that is L1, so that we can study from that position sun continuously for a period of time, okay. The mission lifetime is 5 years, okay. So for these 5 years we can study without any interruption or disruption. That is why Aditya L1 was launched by ISRO, okay. So here what is the issue, why it is a news? Because recently we have reached this L1 point, okay. If you have remembered, this was launched in September 2nd, okay. So on September 2nd 2023 itself we have launched, but it has taken almost 4 months of time to reach this particular place, okay. So that is what Lagrangian point. So what is this point, I will explain, and you can see here almost 127 days it started and it covered how many, 1.5 million kilometers, okay. So stationing at this particular place, it will be operation in for 5 years, okay, continuously. So you know Aditya L1, what is the objective? To study what is the gas pattern, coronal heating and solar winds, how they are generated and all these things. It was launched by ISRO. Launch vehicle is very important, okay. So most of the people may get confused understanding that it is GSLV, but it is PSLV XL, okay. What is the name of PSLV? Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. What is the other name? Workhorse of ISRO. What is the main objective of PSLV? It is a launch vehicle, right? What is the difference between rocket and satellite?
Rocket takes satellite from this satellite revolves around the rocket.
Okay.
Rocket will dismantle.
Then what is the difference between rocket and jet? Is there any difference?
Jet carries oxygen with it. Jet doesn't carry oxygen,
Very good.
but rocket carries oxygen.
Good, good. This is what the basic understanding you need to know, okay. Such questions, although you don't expect in prelims, but they can ask you such questions in interview, okay. If you are coming from an engineering background, such questions can be easily asked, okay. So normally you can remember a thing is a person without oxygen cylinder, okay. If he jumps into water, a person with oxygen cylinder, if both, okay, who can travel and who can sustain more? A person with oxygen cylinder, right, okay, because he is having some backup. Same way rocket will have oxidizer with it, okay, but jet, it has to take oxygen from the atmosphere, okay. That means whenever oxygen is not available, because you know oxygen after a certain level is not available in the atmosphere, so then jet cannot operate. But rocket is not the case, right, because it is having fuel oxidizer in itself, okay. That is a fundamental difference between rocket and jet. Then what is the difference between rocket and a satellite? Rocket's main purpose is to place a satellite in the orbit, okay. After placing the satellite in the orbit, it will dismantle, okay. So this is what rocket or launch vehicle you can call, to launch the satellite in the particular orbit. And PSLV, you know, this is the 3rd generation launch vehicle of ISRO, okay. So what is the first one? SLV, ASLV, PSLV, GSLV. What is the recent ones we are having? These are the recent ones. You have to prepare these also, okay. So these type of differences is very important for prelims and mains. At the same time, this is very important, okay. So small satellite launch vehicle, what is the purpose, why ISRO is focusing on this, and what is reusable launch vehicle, okay. So these are the latest technologies, so a question can be asked. So you know SLV, okay, here only solid and liquid stages we have. So liquid we don't have, only solid we have. For the first time we have liquid engine technology in PSLV. You might have seen Nambinarayan, right, rocketry, okay. If you have seen, you would easily understand this, okay. So what is the contribution of Indian scientists to launch liquid engine and all, okay. So that is the concept of PSLV. So it will have solid, liquid, solid, 4 stage. Alternatively you have solid, liquid, okay. So this is mainly almost you can see this is 60 launches happened so far, but in which 58 were successful. Okay, only 2 failed from PSLV. That is why we have huge success rate for PSLV. And this doesn't carry a huge payload. Okay, maximum 1500 to 1750 kgs only it can carry, and it can place only in the low Earth orbits. Beyond that it cannot carry. Okay, these are the constraints by PSLV. So if you wanted to shift, then GSLV means it is going to launch heavier satellites. Okay, if you want to send 10,000 kg satellite, and if you want to place in different positions, okay, other than low Earth orbit, then GSLV is the option. Okay, so these things you have to focus upon. Then what is the type of mission? Solar mission. Launch date is very important. Okay, when you study state specific exams, they can ask you these questions. Then mission budget 400 crores, landing site is Lagrange point. Okay, you can see this. So here you need to know sunspots. Okay, these terms also can be asked. Okay, sunspots are those areas with intense magnetic field. Okay, so but these places appear darker. Darker means not normally we think is there will be lot of hotness, but instead we have cold areas there. Okay, on sunspots. That means they appear dark, but they are cooler in nature. So this is what you have to remember, one term. Here you have to know the internal structure of the sun also. Okay, so you have, this is a core of the sun, right? This is a corona. Okay, this is photosphere, chromosphere. This is what, okay, this is what you have to know. These main things: core of the earth, corona, solar wind, photosphere, chromosphere. Okay, these are the areas where we are going to focus in Aditya L1 mission. So you can see sunspot, darker areas on the photosphere caused by intense magnetic field, and they are cooler than surroundings. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. They can ask a question. Solar flares means flares. Okay, so there will be energy and radiation emitted by this particular, and this is affecting environment and communications also, because we space some satellites in the particular orbits. No, at that time this energy or the radiation may impact our communication systems also. So what is, when these are created, how these are created, all these things will be studied as part of this mission. Then coronal mass ejections. You have seen what is corona, right? One of the outer layer. So from there, how this magnetic field is getting ejected, how it is causing some ejections. Solar wind also. We will be studying what is the constant stream. Okay, that is solar wind means different particles, charged particles are resulting in solar wind. So how it is impacting Earth's magnetosphere and all we will discuss. So what is the influence? Why we need to study Earth, sun? Because it is a source of energy, right? Only source of energy by which photosynthesis is happening. Okay, weather and ocean currents also, because warm currents and cold currents you have, that is also dependent on the movement of the sun itself. And space weather also we will understand from this only. Then what is the objective? Studying these things mainly: sun's corona, photosphere, chromosphere, solar emissions, solar winds, flares, coronal mass ejections, and also we will be looking into sun continuously. Okay, so here you have to know these are the payloads. Okay, you need not remember about the payloads much. Okay, but here you need to know the most important thing is this particular point. Okay, so you can see here, this is L1 point, it is better here. Okay, so we have reached from Earth, we have reached this L1 point in almost 4 months. That means we have traveled 1.5 million kilometers, right? Okay, so why this L1 point is chosen? Normally, like you have parking lots available, no, to park your vehicle. Same way, these 5 points are the parking points in space, okay, to park our satellites. So why only these 5 locations are chosen means, here what happens is gravitational force between sun and earth on one side and centripetal force of this satellite will get balanced at these points only. Okay, why we didn't choose these places means it is very closer here compared to other points. Okay, if you place in these points, then where the gravitational force and centripetal force get balanced, you need not spend lot of fuel. That means for more time you can station your satellite there. Okay, in case if you are spending lot of fuel there means instead of 5 years, in 1 year only fuel completes, then what happen? Then your satellite cannot send long information, right? That is why, to save fuel and also to balance this gravitational force and centripetal force, we are using these Lagrange points. Not only India, but when you want to study different space missions also, other countries are also placing in either of these. If you have remembered, James Webb telescope is there. Okay, even that is also placed under Lagrange point only. Okay, so this is why L1 is chosen can be asked. Okay, it is very closer compared to other Lagrange points. Now, so what do we study? We have told you already. Only star we can study is sun. Okay, and you know, source of light and heat for Earth, and also you can see Earth's life is getting impacted, and you know, solar system and Earth have lot of connections. If you understand solar system, we can understand what is the origin of the universe and how Earth evolved and all these things in a better way. Okay, then disturbances in solar wind also shakes Earth magnetic field, asteroid impacts, space weather, all these things we can understand if you know sun better. Then what is L1? I have explained already. Okay, it is the place where gravitational forces of two bodies, what are those, sun and earth, produce enhanced regions of attraction and repulsion. Okay, so they can get balanced at this particular point and reduces fuel consumption needed to place at that particular point, and it can view the sun without any disturbances during eclipse and all. Okay, so this is what even NASA also is helping in this, European Space Agency also you can see. What are other missions you can see? Okay, before that, what are applications of this point? Space observatories, because L1 and L2 if you see commonly used, because these are only closer to sun. If Earth, if you have seen in the image, if you do remember, L1, L2, L4, L5, these are different from, far from the Earth, no, if Earth is here. So that is why L1 and L2 only are used. L4, L5 are used for communication purposes. Asteroid, to study these also, L1 points will be helpful. Okay. Then what are other missions you can see here? Solar orbiter mission you have. Okay. Parker solar probe also we have, right? Who launched this? Parker solar probe? NASA. Good. Okay. So this is also aimed at studying the sun only, like Aditya L1. Okay. So these are the other things which are launched by different countries, and there is a joint mission by European Space Agency, that is solar orbiter. Okay. Similar to Aditya L1. Then the next issue is child marriage. Okay, so why this is in news? Yes, did that bill get passed in parliament, or did it become an act now? Child Marriage Act. You know what is the legal age to marry in India? 18 for girls, boys 21. Now they wanted to change it to 21 for girls, 25. Okay. So, but this was not implemented yet. Okay. So the committee is going to examine this and then we'll have. But if you see, is this followed strictly in India? No, no. Otherwise, why this issue will come? Yes or no? Okay. So there are, according to different traditions, if you know, under Hindu Marriage Act, okay, so this is followed normally. Okay. But even in Hindus also we see the prevalence of child marriage. Okay, so many people in the villages also, they will get married below this age. But you know, in Islamic law or Shariat law, the age of marriage is puberty itself. Okay, at the age of puberty they can get married. This is the only essential condition for marriage in Islamic law. So here what is the issue about is, Lancet has given a report in the recent times. They identified that more number of girls and boys are getting married below the legal age in some pockets of India. Okay, what are those pockets? Especially West Bengal and all. Okay, so what you know, this has already reduced, means you know, in the areas of Rajasthan and all, female infanticide is also much prevalent. Okay, but it was dropped from 47% to 26.8% in the recent times. But at the same time, if you see, National Family Health Survey 5, this is the latest data we have. Okay, so when you are writing any social justice related or society related answers, try to note these data. Okay, like child wasting percentage, child stunting, mortality, IMR, MMR, all this data you will get when you get any article on NHFS. Okay, so when you write these things in answers, it will be authenticate. Okay. So here there is a decline in 3.5% according to this, and there is a decline in overall also, but what happened is still some states are facing. What are those states? West Bengal, Bihar and Tripura. These are the top states where more than 40% women aged between 20 to 24 or married below 18. Okay, so this is highly prevalent in these areas, In some states like Madhya Pradesh and you can see Haryana, okay, Rajasthan, they have shown a reduction in child marriages. Okay, so these type of things can be asked in state PCS also, because you know Telangana recent exams, if you have seen top three states in particular thing, they are asking the questions and all. Okay, so those type of things can be asked. Then what is a global scenario? You know, UNICEF has given a data that 12 million people are getting married, okay, below the legal age. UNICEF means, what is UNICEF? UN? Institution for Children and Education Fund. Then what is this SDG 5? What is this SDG 5 about? How many SDGs do you have? 17. Who will say all 17? No one? At least keep them as wallpaper, no, of your phone or desktop. If you do that, you will see daily. If you keep your photo or if your favorite hero or heroine photo, there won't be any use. No, even 1 mark also cannot be increased in exam, right? If you don't know any conclusion for any answer, write down SDG if you know them. That is what all the people will do. Okay? If there is any answer on climate change, just write down SDG 13, climate action. Okay? Or if you know any committee's recommendation, ade rayandi akkada conclusion lo. Okay? That is nothing that you have to remember conclusion, introduction of everything. Okay? The people, what they do is they do smart study. They will be prepared with their content. That is what most people are doing. You have to be prepared with IBC, introduction, body, conclusion. What should be written in any introduction? Answer writing elago telsa? You know? Yes or no? Partially you know. What you can write in introduction? Cause. Okay. See, in any technical exam or technical subject like environment, economy, SNT, you can start with definition. Okay. Or in essay type of thing, you can write historical evolution also. Or in the recent times, if that issue is in news, you can write with the context also. Okay. For example, if office of governor is in news, if they have asked a question, then you can write governor is the executive head of the state. Like that you can write. Or you can also start why governor issue is in news. In the recent times this happened and all. In that line, 2-3 lines you have to write. Okay. Do remember a rule that introduction and conclusion should only be 1/3 of your answer. Remaining 2/3 should be your body. Okay. So that means in introduction you can write definition as well as context of that particular thing. In GS and even in optionals also you can write that. In body, what you can write? Features, causes, implications, okay, or consequences you can write. At the same time, positives, negatives you can write, okay. Or you can write different dimensions. What dimensions you can include? Anything, okay. Political, economic, environmental, social, legal, security related, historical, anything, okay. So if you don't know much about it also, think what are the dimensions of it, okay. One point if you write also, you will fill the pages, okay. When you are writing answers, try to get UPSC pattern answer, because what you write in your books is different and UPSC has a pattern, okay. Lines will be there, you cannot cross the line. And even in the recent times, if you have seen, for 10 markers and 15 markers for both, they are giving only 3 sides. Okay. In the recent mains, what I found is for 8 markers and 10 markers, they have given 2 sides of a page. And for 15 markers, they have given 3 sides of a page. That means for everything mentioned in your syllabus, if you have 3 pages of information, that topic is in your hands. That's it. You need not study multiple sources, you need not compile hundreds of pages for one issue. Okay? In this way, what is the introduction, what is the, all you can include in the body, and if you prepare a conclusion, ready-made answer should be there. What is most important is, before prelims only, if you maintain GS 4 papers notes and optional notes, easily you can clear mains. In that gap between prelims and mains, what you have to do is you just have to revise those notes, that's it. You need not do anything extraordinary what others do and all. So every person is doing the same thing only. They're keeping their answers ready before prelims itself. That is what you have to do. As most of the people said that they wanted to attempt 2025, I am saying this, please keep a separate notes for 4 papers and optional. Okay? Those who have notes only will clear mains. I am saying again and again. పాలిటీ అంటే లక్ష్మీకాంత్ కొంచెం, మెటీరియల్ కొంచెం, క్లాస్ నోట్స్ కొంచెం, ఇలా తిప్పడానికి టైం ఉండదు మీకు. మార్నింగ్ GS1, మధ్యాహ్నం GS2 ఉంటుంది. ఇవన్నీ ఎప్పుడు చదువుతారు? మొత్తం వచ్చేసరికి మీరు GS1కి 100 పేజెస్ నోట్స్ అయింది అనుకుంటే, లాస్ట్కి వచ్చేసరికి దీన్ని మైక్రో నోట్స్ చేయాలి మళ్ళీ. అంటే లెస్ దాన్ 50 పేజెస్కి అవ్వాలి నోట్స్. అంటే అప్పుడు ఎలా రాస్తారు? ఫస్ట్ మీకు మళ్ళీ అర్థం కావడానికి, ఇష్యూ గుర్తుండడానికి నోట్స్ చేయండి. తర్వాత ఓన్లీ హెడింగ్స్ ఆర్ కీవర్డ్స్ మాత్రమే ఉండేటట్టు, అంటే ఒక ఇష్యూ. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ క్రాపింగ్ ప్యాటర్న్ అనేది GS3లో ఉంది. క్రాపింగ్ ప్యాటర్న్ గురించి క్వశ్చన్ వస్తే జస్ట్ దాంట్లో ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయాల్సిన కీవర్డ్స్ ఏంటి అవే రాసుకోండి. అట్లా 50 పేజెస్ నోట్స్ తయారవ్వాలి. అలా ఉంటేనే యూ విల్ బీ ఇన్ ద కాంపిటీషన్. మీరు ఎంత లాంగ్ నోట్స్ చేసుకుని ఎక్స్ట్రాడినరీ పాయింట్ చేసుకుంటే ఆ క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుందో లేదో మీకు తెలియదు. అది చదివినా మీరు ఎగ్జామ్లో రాయగలరో లేదో మీకే తెలియదు. 50 పేజెస్ చేసుకున్నది రివిజన్కి ఎక్కువ ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది మీరు రీప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడానికి. హండ్రెడ్స్ ఆఫ్ పేజెస్ చేస్తే యూ కెనాట్ రీప్రొడ్యూస్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ దేర్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ. దీంట్లో ఇంకోటి ఏం చేయొచ్చు, మీరు సుప్రీంకోర్టు జడ్జ్మెంట్స్, కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ ఆర్టికల్స్, లేకపోతే కమిటీస్ ఏమన్నా మీకు తెలిస్తే అవన్నీ ఇక్కడ డంప్ చేయండి. సి దెర్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ ఇక్కడ. మీరు హౌ మచ్ ఎవర్ యూ డంప్ రిలేటెడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఓన్లీ, స్టోరీస్, సినిమాస్ కాదు, రిలేటెడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ డంప్ చేస్తేనే యూ విల్ గెట్ మార్క్స్. చెప్తున్నాను కదా, యావరేజ్ ఆన్సర్ రాస్తే మీరు అన్నిటికీ యూ విల్ బీ ఇన్ టాప్ 50. ఫైనలిస్ట్లో చెప్తున్నా, మెయిన్స్లో చెప్పట్లే నేను. అన్నిటికీ యావరేజ్ ఆన్సర్స్ రాస్తే వితౌట్ స్కిప్పింగ్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్, నేను ఎక్స్ట్రాడినరీ ఆన్సర్ రాయమన్నట్లే, యావరేజ్ ఆన్సర్ రాసినా యూ విల్ గెట్ ఇన్ టు టాప్ 50. మార్క్ మై వర్డ్. బికాస్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద పీపుల్ కెనాట్ కంప్లీట్ దర్ పేపర్. ఇనీషియల్గా ఫస్ట్ 5 ఆన్సర్స్ బాగా ఎక్స్ట్రాడినరీగా రాసి దాని మీద ఎక్కువ ఫోకస్ చేసి ఇంకా దాన్ని ఎట్లా ఆర్నమెంట్ చేయొచ్చు అని థింక్ చేసి చివరికి వచ్చేసరికి వాళ్ళకి టైం లేకపోతే దట్ ఈస్ వేస్ట్. 3-4 క్వశ్చన్స్ వదిలేసారంటే 10 or 15 into 4 how much? 40 to 60 marks you are losing out. Okay, but if you write average answers in everything you will be into the race. Okay, this is what conclusion లో ఇక్కడ ఏదైనా కమిటీ ఉంటే కమిటీ రికమెండేషన్స్ ఇక్కడ రాయండి, లేదంటే SDGs ఇట్లాంటివే రాయాలి మీరు. ఓకే, జనరల్ ఎప్పుడూ కూడా ఆప్టిమిస్టిక్గానే ఉండాలి మీ ఆన్సర్. అంటే గవర్నమెంట్ ఏం చేయట్లేదు, చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి ఇలానే ఉంది, ఇండియా మారట్లేదు, ఇలాంటివి రాయకూడదు. ఓకే, యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి గవర్నమెంట్ సర్వెంట్స్, యూ షుడ్ నాట్ క్రిటిసైజ్ గవర్నమెంట్. ఓకే, అది మెయింటైన్ చేయండి. మీకు పొలిటికల్గా ఏ పార్టీ నచ్చినా నచ్చకపోయినా UPSCలోకి ఇంటర్వ్యూ కూడా కాదు, లోపలికి వెళ్ళేంత వరకు బయటకి మీ మొహాన్ని చూపించకండి. ఓకే, కొంచెం రాముడు మంచి బాలుళ్ళనే ఉండండి అందరూ, అప్పుడే UPSC తీసుకుంటుంది. మనం మన యాటిట్యూడ్ అక్కడ చూపించామనుకోండి, మనల్ని చూసిన వాళ్ళు చాలామంది ఉంటారు అక్కడ, దే విల్ ఈజీలీ ఫిల్టర్ అవుట్. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ. సో అట్లీస్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ టుడే స్టార్ట్ మేకింగ్ నోట్స్ ఆఫ్ మెయిన్స్, వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ రీడ్. ఓన్లీ పాయింట్స్. అగైన్ అండ్ అగైన్ ఐఎమ్ సెయింగ్, GS పేపర్స్ మ్యాండేటరీగా పాయింట్స్లో రాయండి. అది మీరు ఇట్లా మార్క్ పెట్టుకుంటారా, ఇట్లా పెట్టుకుంటారా, దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ మ్యాటర్డ్. ఓకే, కానీ పాయింట్స్లోనే రాయాలి. GS ఆప్షనల్ కూడా పారాగ్రాఫ్స్ అంటే ఇంత పారాగ్రాఫ్స్ రాయొద్దు, 2-3 సెంటెన్సెస్ ఉంటేనే అలా రాయండి. లేకపోతే పారాస్లో కంటే షార్ట్ పాయింట్స్లో రాస్తే ఇంకా బెటర్. ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ కరెక్ట్ చేసే వాళ్ళకి 5 minutes కంటే ఎక్కువ టైం ఉండదు మీ పేపర్ చూడటానికి. మీరు చేయాల్సింది ఏంటి, అండర్లైన్ చేయడం. ఓకే, కీవర్డ్స్ ఏమన్నా ఉంటే దాన్ని బాక్స్ లాగా ఇట్లా హైలైట్ చేయొచ్చు. యూ కెన్ డూ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ అన్లెస్ అంటిల్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఆన్ ద క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్. ఓకే, మీకు ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్కి మొన్న 1/2 an hour ముందే తీసుకున్నారు, అంటే మన లోపలికి 8:30 నుంచి 9 వరకు గ్యాపే ఉంది మనకి ఎగ్జామ్స్ రాసినప్పుడు. సో ఆ టైం మీరు అన్నీ గుర్తు చేసుకోవచ్చు. దిస్ ఈస్ అ ఫన్నీ థింగ్, యూనో, నా మొన్న మెయిన్స్ రోజు ఫస్ట్ రోజు నా వెనక అతను హీ స్టార్టెడ్ స్పీకింగ్ సంథింగ్, వెనక నుంచి అది సౌండ్ వచ్చింది. ఏంటి అని వెనక్కి తిరిగి చూసేసరికి ఏదైనా మాట్లాడుతున్నారే అడుగుతున్నారే, వెనక్కి తిరిగి చూసేసరికి హీస్ రైటింగ్. ఈయన ఏం రాస్తున్నాడు, క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ ఇవ్వలేదు కదా అని చూస్తే అప్పటిదాకా బయట బట్టి కొట్టొస్తాం కదా, మర్చిపోతామేమోనని చెప్పి ఆన్సర్ షీట్లో కూడా కాదు, ఆన్సర్ షీటే ఇవ్వలేదు అప్పటి వరకు. వెనక క్వశ్చన్ అదే హాల్ టికెట్ వెనక కొంచెం పేజ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, దాని మీద మొత్తం రాసేస్తున్నాడు. బట్ దట్ ఈస్ ఇల్లీగల్ అగైన్. ఓకే, సో ఎందుకంటే మళ్ళీ అది చూసినా దే విల్ క్వశ్చన్ యూ. అతని దగ్గర పాపం అంత ఎఫర్ట్ పెట్టి మొత్తం రాశాడు. అప్పటి వరకు ఓకే నేను అనుకున్నా, అయ్యో ఎవరు చూడకపోతే బాగుండు పాపం అంత రాసుకున్నాడు అని. లాస్ట్ హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ ముందు హాల్ టికెట్ తీసేసుకున్నారు. అలా ఉంటుంది. సో యూ షుడ్ నాట్ డూ దోస్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, అప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటుంది, 50 పేజెస్ నోట్స్ చేసుకుంటే మీకు చాలా ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది, రిప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడం కూడా ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, డోంట్ డూ దీస్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, పాయింట్స్లోనే రాయండి. పారాగ్రాఫ్స్ రాస్తే అసలే చిరాకులో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి ఇంకా చిరాకు వస్తుంది. ఓకే, ప్రెషర్స్ అన్నీ మీ మీద చూపిస్తారు, మీ ఆన్సర్స్ మీద చూపిస్తారు. క్లీన్గా రాయండి, రైటింగ్ నీట్గా ఉండాలి, కొట్టివేతలు ఇవన్నీ చేయొద్దు. ఓకే, ఎంత కుదిరితే అంత డయాగ్రామ్స్ ఇట్లా టేబుల్ చేయడం, బాక్స్లో పెట్టడం. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ కింద రాయండి. అది ఇండియా మ్యాప్ అని మీకు అర్థం అవ్వచ్చు, అతనికి అర్థం కావాలంటే అది మ్యాప్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా, లేకపోతే ఆయనకి ఏదో ముగ్గేశారో మౌంటైన్ గీసారో అనుకుంటారు కదా. సో కింద ఇక్కడ దాన్ని డిస్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, ఫిగర్ అని పెట్టి మ్యాప్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా సమ్ పర్టికులర్ థింగ్. ఇవి ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. ఓకే, 5 minutes టైం దొరికినా నిద్ర వచ్చినా యూట్యూబ్ ఓపెన్ చేసో ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ ఓపెన్ చేసో రీల్స్ చూసే బదులు జస్ట్ ఇండియా మ్యాప్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయడం. ఓకే, ఇవి హిస్టరీలో జాగ్రఫీలో చాలా ఎక్కువ యూజ్ అవుతాయి మీకు. ఓకే, ఎంత చిన్న స్పేస్ దొరికితే అంత చిన్న స్పేస్లో మీరు డయాగ్రామ్ గీయండి. ఓకే, హిస్టరీలో ఇప్పుడు హర్షవర్ధన గురించి ఏదైనా అడిగారు అనుకోండి, జస్ట్ చిన్న ఇండియా మ్యాప్ ఇట్లా గీసి ఇక్కడ హర్ష కింగ్డమ్ ఉండేది. ఓకే, అట్లా మీరు చిన్న చూపిస్తే ఏంటంటే ఓకే వీళ్ళకి లొకేషన్ కూడా తెలుసు అనేది అర్థమవుతుంది. మీకు ఒక ½ మార్క్ 1 మార్క్ ఎక్స్ట్రా పడినా అన్న ఆన్సర్స్లో ½ 1 అంటే ఎంత డిఫరెన్స్ వస్తుంది మీకు. 10-15 మార్క్స్ ఒక పేపర్కి ఎక్కువ వచ్చిందంటే అండర్స్టాండ్ హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓకే, అది ఎక్కడ ఛాన్స్ దొరికితే అక్కడ ఇట్లా ఫ్లో చార్ట్స్ కానీ లేకపోతే ఇట్లా పెట్టి డయాగ్రామ్స్ టైప్ ఇట్లా డ్రా చేస్తే ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళకి మొత్తం చదివే భారం తగ్గుతుంది. అదొక్కటి చూస్తే ఓకే వీళ్ళకి తెలుసు అనేది అర్థమవుతుంది. యూ హ్యావ్ టు మేక్ ద జాబ్ ఆఫ్ ఎగ్జామినర్ ఈజీ. కాంప్లికేట్ చేయొద్దు. ఓకే, మీకు అర్థమయ్యే భాషలో రాయొద్దు, వాళ్ళకి అర్థమయ్యే భాషలో రాయండి. ఓకే, ఇట్లా కాదు రాయాల్సింది. ఇవి ఉంటే వాట్సాప్ చాటింగ్ వరకే లిమిట్ చేసుకోండి. ఎగ్జామ్లో మాత్రం ఫుల్ వర్డ్స్ రాయడం నేర్చుకోండి. క్లాస్ నోట్స్ కూడా ఇప్పటి నుంచే ఫాస్ట్గా రాయడం నేర్చుకోండి. ఓకే, మీ రైటింగ్ నీట్గా ఉండకపోయినా కొంచెం అర్థమయ్యేలా ఉంటే చాలు. వర్స్ట్ హ్యాండ్ రైటింగ్ ఉన్నా అర్థమయ్యేటట్టు ఉండాలి. అండర్లైనింగ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓకే, కాకపోతే హెడింగ్స్కి డిఫరెంట్ కలర్స్ యూస్ చేస్తే బెటర్. అది ఎప్పుడు మీకు టైం ఉంటే, మీరు చేంజ్ చేయలేకపోతే మాత్రం అక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ రాదు, మనకు సపోర్ట్ రాదు. బట్ స్టిల్ మీరు చేయగలిగితే పెన్సిల్స్తో డయాగ్రామ్స్ వేయడం ఇదంతా ఎప్పుడు అంటే వన్స్ యూ గెట్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ దట్ యూ కెన్ కంప్లీట్ పేపర్ ఇన్ 3 hours. అంత కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు బ్లాక్ అండ్ బ్లూ వాడటం, పెన్సిల్ వాడటం ఇలాంటివి చేయొచ్చు. ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తే మొత్తం బ్లాక్ పెట్టి రాస్తే అండర్లైన్ చేయండి. ఆర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్స్కి క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్స్లో రాయొచ్చు. ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఏదన్నా రూల్ ఆఫ్ లా ఉందనుకోండి, మిగతాదంతా స్మాల్లో రాసి ఇది క్యాపిటల్లో రాస్తే ఈజీగా కనిపిస్తుంది. ఓకే, అలా కూడా చేయొచ్చు. ఇట్లా చేస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే యు ఆర్ ఆర్నమెంటింగ్ యువర్ ఆన్సర్స్. ఓకే, వాళ్ళ ఈజీగా దానికి వెళ్తుంది, మార్క్స్ పడతాయి. ఇన్ దిస్ వే యూ కెన్ డూ. ఓకే, సో వై ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ ఇస్ ఇక్కడ వచ్చింది ఇష్యూ. ఓకే, SDG 5. ఎస్, then what is the impact of child marriage? Okay, so you know human rights violation. Okay, mainly if they get married below legal age, what happens? Health of the girl will not be in a way to support pregnancy and all, right? Okay, so the baby born also will have low weight, or he or she can die under 5 only, that we call infant mortality rate and all. Okay, girls are suffering from anemia, those things will be there. Okay, so those things are important to be addressed. Gender based violence also, and maternal child health is also important. This data you can write. 55% of women is married between 2024 married before 18 years of age. Okay, and these data also you can write. So here you can see this is very important in case if a question is asked, because Recently government also proposed to raise the marriageable age rate, so they can ask a question like this. So at that time you have to write what are the legal measures taken, okay. So if you have remembered, in 1929 we have Child Marriage Restraint Act, history law. 1929 Sharada Act we call, right? ఎప్పుడైనా చదివినట్టు గుర్తుందా? Child Marriage Intervention Act. Huh? Yes. So that was the first step, okay, in independent India. Later, you know, who was the main person who want to stop this child marriage? Socio-religious reforms చదవలేదా హిస్టరీలో? What are the issues women faced at that point of time? Sati ever contribution ante evaru Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Who was the viceroy or governor general at that time? Eppudu adi 29 ante evaru William Bentinck. Okay, ఇవి కూడా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి హిస్టరీలో ఇలా చదివేటప్పుడు. సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ ఈవెంట్ ఉంటే హూ ఇస్ ద వైస్రాయ్ ఆర్ గవర్నర్ జనరల్, ఓకే, దోస్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కెన్ బి ఆస్క్డ్. దెన్ okay, you said sati is over. Then widow remarriage, who is the person? Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, right? Okay, in Telugu states who is considered so? Kandukuri Veereshilingam Pantulu in Telugu states, okay, he is also considered as Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar of southern India. Then female education, Jyotiba Phule, Savitriba Phule, recently we have seen it. Then female infanticide is also there, okay, that also an act was passed. Later you have parda system, child marriage. These are the main issues we have at that point of time, okay. So B.N. Mulberry, this person also contributed to eradicate this child marriage issue, okay, this you have to remember. Then you have Prohibition of Child Marriage Act in 2006 passed, and you know POXO Act, you know, 2012, okay. So here a girl, okay, minor, if she was raped or if she was subjected to sexual offences, it was a crime, okay. And you know this is also violation of human rights. Then you have this recent time, okay, bill passed in 2021 which is aimed at increasing age to 21 years, okay, but it was referred to a committee. Who is the head of this committee to look into this issue of raising age, marriageable age of girls? No. Who headed J&K Delimitation Commission? No? Find the answers for these two. J&K Delimitation Commission, who is the head, and also who is heading this child marriage bill with respect to this, who is the committee to look into the age and all, okay. Then why minimum age for females should be increased, okay. So you have to know, because of education and lack of employment, they are subjected to family pressures, right. If they are educated, anyway they will cross 21 to complete their degree, okay, and if there is employment also they can sustain themselves. That is what one issue. And impact of early marriage on health and of women and child is another issue. Then these are the policies in the recent times to prevent child marriage, okay. Sankanya Samruddhi Yojana, you know, okay, if you are depositing some money, okay, that money post offices and all, okay, every month 1,000 and also above 1,000 also you can keep. So later on, after 21 years you can take this money and that will be useful for education or marriage of that particular girl. This is a main objective of the scheme. Balika Samruddhi Yojana, enrollment and retention of girl child, because you know gross enrollment ratio, if you have seen, most number of dropouts are from girls only, okay. Then Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, okay, this is another scheme, educate the girl child, women empowerment. So these are the schemes you have to quote, okay. In introduction, sorry, in body only, when you are writing the issues, write down what are the measures taken by the government. Try to write 1 or 2 schemes of the government, related schemes, so that you are authenticating your answer. And one more thing is, in economy and other like society or social justice, when you are writing some data, quote the source of the data. For example, NHFS, like these things if you quote, or according to RBI data, or according to UNFCCC report or IPCC report, if you are mentioning the source, it will be reliable, okay. Otherwise if you don't mention, that will not be considered much, okay. And what is the highlight of the report is, as I told you, all states except Manipur experienced a decline in the prevalence of child marriage, okay, between this period, and 4 states, Bihar, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, accounted for more than half of the total burden of child marriages in girls, okay. Do remember this, because in any, like if Telangana exams get started and all, these type of questions can be asked, okay. Which are the states with more number of marriages, child marriages? Uttar Pradesh is most substantially absolute decrease between this period, okay. 1993 to 2021, there is a gradual decline in child marriages in Uttar Pradesh. West Bengal saw the largest increase, okay. These are the 2 states you have to remember. Then we are going to discuss about the warmest year, 2023, okay. If you have seen in the recent times, they found that 2023 is the warmest year. Next year again, if we discuss, we'll discuss it is 2024, okay. It's not going to change, because we are creating a livable atmosphere for us, right? Yes or no? We want ACs, or we want these companies to sustain. That is why we are increasing our own temperatures, right? 2023 is the warmest year. Who said? It was said by Copernicus Climate Change. This is the European Weather Assessment Agency. So it said that compared to previous years, 2023 recorded highest average, okay. So global average means, see, don't think in India we are crossing 40 degrees, no. Why global temperature is only 14.98, okay. Globally, all countries together, if you take, global temperature is this 14.98, almost how much increase? 0.717 increase than previous highest, that is 2022, okay. So we'll be discussing this. Now you have to know, Copernicus is the European Union's Earth observation program to assess weather and all. So it said in 2023, first time on record, almost every day within a year exceeded 1 degree above 1850 to 900 pre-industrial level. So what is this pre-industrial level? Before industrial revolution, what is the temperature average, okay, that will consider, because everything started to reverse after industrial revolution only, no, okay. So that is why we compare with pre-industrial levels. So every day in 2023 recorded 1 degree above the pre-industrial level, okay. That is why we are saying it is the warmest year, okay. And you can see 50% of the days were more than 1.5 degree warmer than 1850 to 900, and 2 days in November were for the first time more than 2 degree warmer, 1 degree and 2 degree warmer, okay. These things you can write in any answer. Then what are the reasons? Greenhouse gas emissions. What are greenhouse gases? Water vapor, CO2, then CH4. What is CH4? Methane. CFC. CF6. CF6. SF or HS? Sulfur hexafluoride. That is what you mean to say, right? Then? Hydrofluorocarbons, okay. Okay, these lists vary, but what is this greenhouse gas? Did you all complete trading environment? No? Class is not completed? Okay. So what is greenhouse gas according to your own definition? Heat trapped. Simple. If a car locked up, okay, without AC in it, you know, when it is placed under sun, will you feel cool or hot? Because whatever the heat that is generated is having no way to escape. Same way for the earth also, because you know there are some gases in the atmosphere. These are the greenhouse gases. So normally, you know, if 1 unit of energy is taken by the earth, it will be reflected back. Means we are maintaining the temperature, that's it. We are not absorbing, we are not reflecting more. So what happens? Out of the energy what it requires, it will keep, and whatever the energy is left out, it will be reflected back or radiated back. But what these greenhouse gases will be doing? Again they will be sending back to the earth. Okay, that is the issue. That means these are acting like a blanket and they are stopping this outgoing terrestrial radiation. Okay, they are keeping the earth more warmer. That is what the job of greenhouse gases. Okay, so these greenhouse gases are increasing in the recent times because of different anthropogenic events. Okay, anthropogenic events means pollution, fossil fuel combustion, different reasons. Okay, we'll be discussing those. So here greenhouse gases means to phase out greenhouse gases, what is the protocol we have? Very good. Kyoto Protocol. Have you heard about this? 1997. Okay, Kyoto is a city in Japan. Okay, so this, you know, again I am saying UN and Earth Summit, I told you in the previous class also. One of the major outcome is UNFCCC. Okay, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. With respect to this, if you see this climate change convention, it is mainly aimed at addressing these greenhouse gases and how to limit global warming. Okay, how to stop climate change. So this UN under UNFCCC, do remember this is a convention. Okay, convention means broader thing, under which if you want to specific target or a particular target, if you wanted to arrest or something, then you can say it is a protocol. Protocol means within a convention with respect to one particular thing if you want to do, okay, then you can call it as a protocol. So you have Kyoto Protocol here. Okay, so this Kyoto Protocol is part of this convention mainly to limit greenhouse gases. If you limit greenhouse gases, then you can arrest climate change. That is what the objective is. Okay, then what happened? So there are how many greenhouse gases identified as part of Kyoto Protocol? 6. What are those 6?
Methane. 6.
Sulfur hexafluoride. Yes.
HFCs.
Okay. These type of questions will be asked in prelims. Okay. Normal greenhouse gases, because one may be in the future, one may not be in the future. Okay, according to its longevity and all. But if a protocol is recognizing some gases as greenhouse gases, then it is very important. Okay, so please do remember this is also part of homework. Okay, because if I say everything, you will just nod your heads and you will leave. When I give some homework, you have to check them out so that you will know some information. Okay, so 6 greenhouse gases are identified as part of Kyoto Protocol. Those you have to know. Okay, what are those 6 you know? Then deforestation. What is deforestation? Cutting down trees. Okay, what is afforestation then? What is deforestation?
Planting trees in the area which were earlier deforested is deforestation is new.
New area. Very good. Good. Then increased industrialization, you know. Okay, land use changes means land degradation. Why this is happening? Means previously fertile lands are becoming now infertile. Okay, so those changes, whatever you make, desertification or increasing in salinity of the soil, all these are land use changes. Okay, because of some changes we are making to soil. Then melting of ice and snow. How this is resulting in reasons? Increasing temperature. Yes. What is the connection between melting of ice and increase in temperature? How?
Water level of ocean waters are increasing. It traps heat from the solar.
If more water increases, then what happens? More evaporation happens, right? More evaporation is resulting in increase in temperatures in this way. Okay. Then natural climate variability, you know, El Nino, La Nina. What are these?
Based on the rainfall,
What is good for India? What is bad for India?
La Nina is good for India, El Nino is bad.
Okay. Yes. So you know, on the coast of Peru, normally cold current should be there. That is Peruvian current or Humboldt's current we call. So if that is replaced by warm current, you know, normally cold current will result in dry conditions. Deserts will be located in the cold currents. Okay. In case if cold current is replaced by warm current, means Peruvian, if you see there, this is a Peruvian coast. Here you have Atacama Desert also. Okay. That means if this cold current is replaced by warm current, means what happens? Rain will happen, right? Okay. Precipitation will happen, means instead of desert conditions, more precipitation happens on this side. What about this side? No rainfall or less rainfall. That means Australia, India, all these areas will experience less or no rainfall. So why this change happens? Human activities. Okay. So this cycle is repeating from 2 to 7 years almost. Okay. Once it is getting repeated. La Nina is the reverse situation. Okay. So these are global atmospheric conditions. So do read this when you are studying geography. Okay. World geography, it is very important. And then extreme weather events. Okay. Sometimes if you see recently bush fires, forest fires, these are also increasing, right? Okay. If these things increase, temperatures are also increasing. Okay. So again I am saying this as part of geography, although this is not related, I am saying Indian geography, you have physical geography, right? 11th NCERT Indian geography book that you have to read cover to cover. Means every chapter under that particular book is very important for prelims. Okay, line to line is important. Next you have World Geography 11th NCERT, Fundamentals of Physical Geography, right? In that first focus on climatology and oceanography parts. These are high yield areas for prelims. Okay, don't start from origin of universe, different branches of geography. Those chapters are in the beginning. Those are not important. Don't start. Okay, that is what I am asking always to do. Prioritize your subjects. Okay, Indian geography, everything is important. World geography, first go through climatology and oceanography. Okay, after completing these two chapters, then go for origin of earth, all earthquakes and volcanism chapters you have, no? Then you have to go through geomorphology, because if you see geomorphology, you have 0 questions most of the times, okay? But those are at the beginning. If you spend your energy in reading those chapters, when you come to climatology and oceanography, you don't have much capacity to understand the things and all. That is why always prioritize the subject, okay, according to number of questions asked from each particular chapter. This is what you have to do. Then what are the steps taken? Okay, so this is like a recap of environment only. Paris Agreement, you know, this was in 2015, COP21, right, to UNFCCC. So what is the difference between Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement? What are similarities and what are differences between these two? Yes, please, anyone? Do you know what is the difference? ఈ రెండు తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు ఎవరు ఒకసారి చేయొద్దండి. రెండిటి గురించి ఎంతో కొంత తెలిసినా పర్లేదు. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు ఆన్సర్ వాట్ యు నో. ఎస్, యు నో. మిగతా అందరికీ క్యోటో పారిస్ గురించి తెలీదా? మరి హ్యాండ్స్ రేజ్ చేయట్లేదు. ఓకే, ఫైన్. See, as I told you, under UNFCCC both are agreements or protocols. But what is the difference is, as I told you, Kyoto happened in 1997, right? For the first time, under climate change agreement, for the first time we kept some legally binding targets as part of Kyoto. Okay? Ante adela pettamu. For example, developed countries percentage limit cheyali, developing NX1 and NX2 countries unnai kada, we have kept targets in Kyoto like that. Okay, that means legally binding targets were kept as part of it under Kyoto for the first time. But under Paris Agreement, what happened is every country started placing INDCs, intended nationally determined contributions. Ante intaku mundu developed versus developing ani ala undedi targeting, and now we have started making intended national determined contributions. అంటే ఎవ్రీ కంట్రీ వాళ్ళు ఎంత ఇంటెండ్ చేస్తున్నారు లిమిట్ చేయడానికి, అంటే ఈచ్ కంట్రీ స్టార్టెడ్ కీపింగ్ ఇట్స్ ఓన్ టార్గెట్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ద మెయిన్ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ క్యోటో ప్రోటోకాల్ అండ్ పారిస్ అగ్రిమెంట్. ఓకే, క్యోటోలో అట్లా ఇండివిజువల్ టార్గెట్ లేదు. డెవలపింగ్ కంట్రీస్, డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీస్కి 2 డిఫరెన్సియేషన్ ఇచ్చారు. ఆ 2 ఈ టార్గెట్స్ మీట్ అవ్వాలని మాత్రమే చెప్పారు. బట్ కంట్రీ స్పెసిఫిక్ టార్గెట్స్ వి స్టార్టెడ్ కీపింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ పారిస్ అగ్రిమెంట్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. ఓకే, దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో లీగలీ బైండింగ్. Okay, here what you have to know is, what is the main target is 2 degrees temperature limit cheyali. Ippudu pre industrial level unna temperatures kante 2 degrees minimize cheste chala better. Global warming nu manam aapochu. 2 degrees cheyalekapothe at least 1.5 degree aina cheyali. A 1.5 degree limit cheyakapothe manam, it is going to have negative consequences on the earth. Okay, we cannot live more. So that is what the main target of Paris Agreement. Then What are the steps taken? As I told you, this is what? National Determined Contributions, INDCs we call, okay. So India INDCs ఏంటో తెలుసా మీకు? Panchamrit principles also Prime Minister highlighted, right? Those are very important, okay. Climate change related essay, అంటే ఎస్సేలో ఫిలసాఫికల్ ఎస్సే వస్తాయి, బట్ ఇంగ్లీష్ పేపర్లో మీకు ఎస్సే వస్తుంది కదా, అలాంటి ఎస్సే ఆర్ ఎన్వైర్న్మెంట్ రిలేటెడ్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఎక్కడ వచ్చినా, ఇఫ్ యూ మగప్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ ఇఫ్ యూ కీప్ దోస్ థింగ్స్, ఓకే, ఈ డేటా కానీ ఇవన్నీ వచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు న్యూస్ పేపర్స్ నుంచి ఒక చోట నోట్ చేసుకుంటుంటే ఇట్ విల్ బి వెరీ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఫర్ యూ, ఓకే. ఐఎన్డిసిస్ అన్నీ ఒక చోట రాసుకుని పంచామృత్ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్, ఇఫ్ యూ note them all those and write down in any answer related to climate change, extra 1-2 marks will be awarded, okay. This is what you have to do. Then Kyoto Protocol, okay. As I told you, this was adopted in 1997 as part of UNFCCC, and it is the first time, okay, we established legally binding emission reduction targets, but it is not country specific, okay. That is what the difference you have to keep in mind. What are the steps taken? So you know, protocol's first commitment period, what is this period? If you have remembered, Kyoto Protocol was signed in 1997, but did it come into force in the same year? No, right? It came into force in 2005, okay. Means 2005, from 2008 to 2012, we have kept this as a first commitment period. Means between this we try to achieve some part of the target, okay. But by this time there is no international agreement again signed and we did not achieve goals. So we extended this to second commitment period, okay. This completed by 2020, okay. That is why in 2021 we have recent, what is the summit, main summit happened in 2021. Where did it happen? Glasgow, right? COP26, if you do remember, okay. మధ్యలో COP21 Paris Agreement ఎందుకు సైన్ అయింది అంటే, ఇది లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇఫ్ యూ సీ ఇక్కడ 1997లో సైన్ అయితే 2005లో ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్లోకి వచ్చింది. మనం 2020 వరకు ఏం యాక్షన్ తీసుకోకపోతే, అంటే ఇంకొక ఇంటర్నేషనల్ అగ్రిమెంట్ సైన్ చేసుకోలేకపోతే దెన్ ఈ టార్గెట్స్ లీగల్లీ బైండింగ్ ఉండవు. అందుకని మధ్యలోనే పారిస్ అగ్రిమెంట్ని తీసుకొచ్చాం. అది ఎప్పటి నుంచి ఎఫెక్ట్లోకి వచ్చింది? 2020 1st January నుంచి వచ్చింది పారిస్ అగ్రిమెంట్. సో ఇది అయిపోగానే సెకండ్ కమిట్మెంట్ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ క్యోటో ప్రోటోకాల్, సూన్ ఆఫ్టర్ ఇట్ ఎండ్స్, immediately Paris Agreement will come into picture, okay. That is what you have to keep in mind. Then 2023 recently COP28 happened in where? Dubai, right? COP27 Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, okay. Do remember these things. And next, what is the main thing? As I told you here, second commitment period happened, clean development mechanism. This is important thing, part of Kyoto Protocol, okay. Clean development mechanism, carbon trading, all these are the terms associated with Kyoto Protocol. Clean development mechanism means what? Simple. See, this is a developed country, this is a developing country, okay. You know carbon credit concept, right? What happens? Who will use more number of carbon emissions? Who will release more number of emissions? Developed country, right? Okay. So this, they will don't have that much power to develop something. Then what happens? They will be having carbon credits with themselves, but they will be running short of carbon credits. Then what happen? They will buy carbon credits from this country. For this, what they'll get? They'll get money. This is what clean development mechanism is, green financing, okay. That means with this money they will use that money to better their technology in terms of green financing. That is what the concept. Then Montreal Protocol, you know what is Montreal Protocol? Ozone depletion, okay. When it was signed 1987, okay. This is one of the international agreement which received universal ratification. Means almost all the countries have ratified Montreal Protocol. And if you know, interesting thing, Kyoto Protocol, it was signed by US, but it didn't ratify even till date. Okay, that means most of the countries will sign but they don't ratify. But Montreal Protocol was the only protocol which achieved universal ratification. Okay, mainly aimed at ozone depleting substances. What are these substances? Chlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, then what else? Where do you find these ozone depleting substances? Air conditioners, refrigerators, aerosols, okay, foaming machines or foaming sprays and all. In these areas we will find these ozone depleting substances. So when they release, what happened? Ozone means O3, no? Okay, this will be depleted into oxygen and free radical, oxygen free radical. Okay, so if this ozone is not there, then what happened? Ultraviolet rays will reach the earth. Okay, that means we are removing our protective barrier. That is why this Montreal Protocol is aimed at removing this. Okay, and we wanted to strengthen this ozone. Okay, in the recent times, if you have seen, over Antarctic ozone have recovered. Okay, that is what you have seen. Steps taken is mainly to address this ozone depletion. Okay, and if you remember, these are replaced by which type of things? CFCs and HCFCs are replaced by hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs we call. Okay, these are non-ozone depleting, but they have huge global warming potential. This is again another issue. Okay, అంటే ఇవి ఓజోన్ డిప్లీషన్ ఆపడానికి తీసుకొచ్చాం. ఇవి ఓజోన్ డిప్లీట్ చేయకపోయినా దే ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ గ్లోబల్ వార్మింగ్ పొటెన్షియల్, మీన్స్ that resulted in global warming. That is one another issue we have. So in relation to Montreal Protocol, recently we have an amendment. What is that amendment? Kigali, if you have remembered, yes or no? Kigali amendment in 2016. Kigali is a place in ఇవన్నీ ఊరికే మాంట్రియల్ ఎక్కడ? కెనడా. ఓకే, ఇవన్నీ ఎక్కడ సైన్ అవుతే అక్కడ నేమ్ దానికి పెడతారు. యూ హ్యావ్ టు నో. ఓకే, ఇలాంటివి కూడా తెలుసుకోకపోతే మ్యాపింగ్లో ఇస్తే యు ఆర్ మిస్సింగ్ యువర్ క్వశ్చన్. దట్స్ ఇట్, సింపుల్. సరే, నేనే ఒక క్లూ ఇస్తా. ఇది ఒక ఆఫ్రికన్ కంట్రీ క్యాపిటల్. That country is very famous for women empowerment. రీసెంట్గా పార్లమెంట్లో ఉమెన్ రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్ పాస్ అయినప్పుడు కూడా ఆ కంట్రీ గురించి డిస్కషన్ వచ్చింది. బికాస్ మోర్ దాన్ 60% ఆఫ్ పార్లమెంటేరియన్స్ ఇన్ దట్ కంట్రీ ఆర్ ఉమెన్. స్పెల్? ఎస్, వెరీ గుడ్. Rwanda. Okay. This is a country where this Kigali is located. Okay, do remember these things. Then you know IPCC is there. IPCC is formed when? 1988 by WMO and UNEP, World Meteorological Organization and United Nations Environment Program. These two have formed in 1998 IPCC. So what is this body? The main job of this body is to do scientific research with respect to climate change. Okay, because there should be some data. When you are collecting some data and you are showing that this is happening and all, you can take some measures, right? Without data you cannot take measures. Okay, similar to IPCC under climate change, what is the body you have under biodiversity? In this way you have to correlate. Have you heard about this? No? Yes or no? No. See, these two are similar. This is with respect to climate change, okay. This is with respect to biodiversity. Intergovernmental Panel on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. You will find this when you find like pollinators, if they are decreased and all. In the recent times also we will have some things, no, honeybee population తగ్గిపోయింది, like pollination effect అవుతుంది అన్నప్పుడు this will give some reports, okay. What the job IPCC is doing in terms of climate change, same job is done in terms of biodiversity by this body, okay. So you have to keep this thing in mind. So scientific information related to climate change. So here you have to remember is this body publishes report, okay, but it doesn't conduct research on its own, okay. It is done individually by different scientists. All that information will be collected and they will release the reports, or they will release this is a data, but they don't do scientific research on their own, okay. That is what you have to keep in mind. So 6th assessment report is recently out, right, okay, that you have to update. Whatever the major findings of 6th assessment report are there, those you need to quote in your answers for more marks, okay. Then Green Climate Fund, what is this? This is established in 2010, okay, as part of UNFCCC only. In 2010 this was established and it is located in a place in South Korea, okay. So what is the name of this fund? Itself is suggesting, right, Green Climate Fund, okay. Means if you have remembered under Kyoto and all from the past, we are asking developed countries because they are contributing to more number of emissions, no. So developing countries did not contribute more. So we are asking developed countries to share the burden, right, okay. Previously if you have remembered, under Kyoto there is a term called, what is the CBDR? Very good. Common but differentiated responsibility. This is a concept under Kyoto we have, okay. Common, what is common? Climate change impact is common on everyone, but differentiated responsibility means developed countries having different responsibility, developing countries having different responsibility. Because if you see, China is the first largest greenhouse gas emitter, that is recently in the recent times. But traditionally US and Europe, or the traditional, or the, like you can say, these are the two largest contributors of greenhouse gases, right. If they have contributed more, they have to take the burden more, yes or no? Any island country cannot take the burden, right. Maldives or any Pacific island country, they cannot take the burden. So that is what CBDR, okay, common but differentiated responsibility. So under this, what we have signed or agreed is every year $100 billion of money should be given by developed countries to developing countries. This will be kept as part of this fund, Green Climate Fund. Clear? Okay. So this is mainly what the money will be used for. Low carbon and climate resilient technologies will be developed, okay. So it should go from developed countries to developing countries, okay. Next, this is the Glasgow Climate Pact, I told you, 2021, COP26, okay. So what we have agreed is to limit global temperature here, okay. So mainly, and you can see we wanted to increase finance also and reduce emissions, coal use and all. Next is very important, renewable energy initiatives. In the recent times, every country is focusing more on renewables and they don't want fossil fuels. This should be cut down, right, because of release of greenhouse gases from fossil fuels, okay. So even India also, you know, India has pioneered in establishment of this organization, right, in which summit it was organized? Paris itself, 2015, along with which country? France, okay. Who will be the chief guest of this Republic Day? France President Emmanuel Macron itself, okay. So he will be. So India, along with this, there is another organization which was sponsored by India. What is it? Biofuel Alliance, okay. That is in the recent times, but previously, that is also headquartered in India. Only two organizations are headquartered in India. What is it? Have you heard about this? Coalition for Disaster Risk Reduction, okay. This is an initiative also sponsored by India and headquartered in India, along with this International Solar Alliance, okay. When this was launched, you remember, I guess, in 2016 itself there is a question on International Solar Alliance. Yes or no? Okay, they have asked initially because when this was launched, it is covering only those countries which are located between Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. Okay, but later now we have extended this to all UN members. Any country without locating in the Tropic of Capricorn and Cancer only, they can participate in this International Solar Alliance. Okay, and you know, mission innovation also. Mission innovation is also a collaboration between India and US. Okay, mainly to enhance renewable energy. Okay, they'll give us technology. Then this is very important. This is also launched as part of COP26 only. Global Methane Pledge. What is methane? CH4. If you have remembered, sources of methane is very much important. What are the sources of methane? Agriculture. What? How? Rice paddy fields. Okay, when they're submerged in water for long, it releases methane. Then rumination by animals also. Okay, animal rumination. Then yes, coal combustion, and even okay, gases, and then even when this waste, solid waste also, okay, if it leaches and all at that time also, methane will be released. Okay, so when, see, this is an initiative specifically targeting methane, no, at that time, they, like, everyone will know what is global methane pledge, why it was launched, when it was launched, everything will be known by everyone. But what UPSC can expect is what is the source of methane. Okay, so whether it is a short-lived like greenhouse gas or long-lived, so such type of things can be asked in prelims. So you have to think beyond what is in books. Okay, that is what you have to follow. Then here you see this was launched in 2021 as part of COP26 in Glasgow summit. So what is the main target is to reduce global methane emissions by 30% by 2030. Okay, and the sources are oil, gas, agriculture and solid waste, municipal waste. Okay, then climate action plan, you know, have you heard about this? National Action Plan on Climate Change. Under this, how many missions are there? 8 missions are part of this. If you have remembered, National Green Mission, National Solar Mission. Have you heard these terms? To arrest climate change, Government of India, because see, Paris Agreement 2015 లో మేము ఇది చేస్తాము, ఇంత టెంపరేచర్ తగ్గిస్తాము అని చెప్పామంటే దాన్ని చేయడానికి ఏదో ఒకటి మనం ఫాలో అవ్వాలి కదా. డిఫరెంట్ డొమైన్స్లో ఏం ఫాలో అవుతున్నాం. ఓకే, నేషనల్ గ్రీన్ మిషన్ అంటే ఏంటి? ట్రీ కవర్ ఎలా పెంచుతున్నాం. ఓకే, ఇంత టార్గెట్ అని పెట్టుకుని ఇన్ని ఇయర్స్ లోపల ఇంత గ్రీన్ కవర్ పెంచుతామంటే నేషనల్ గ్రీన్ మిషన్. సోలార్ ఎనర్జీ ఇంత పెంచుతామంటే నేషనల్ సోలార్ మిషన్. అలా సస్టైనబుల్ హ్యాబిటాట్, హిమాలయన్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్కి ఇంకొక మిషన్. అలా క్లైమేట్ చేంజ్ని ఆపడానికి ఇండియా లాంచ్ చేసిన మిషన్స్ అన్ని పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ నేషనల్ క్లైమేట్ యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్. ఓకే, హియర్ ద మెయిన్ ఫోకస్ ఇస్ టు meet the targets of Paris Agreement. Okay, here you can see the list of the things. Okay, ఇలాంటివే మెయిన్స్లో రాయండి ఎప్పుడైనా కనిపించినప్పుడల్లా. ఓకే, సోలార్ ఎనర్జీ గురించి అడిగితే గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా లాంచ్డ్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ సోలార్ అలయన్స్, నేషనల్ సోలార్ మిషన్. 2 things if you remember, 1 mark. ఓకే, దెన్ నేషనల్ మిషన్ ఆన్ సస్టైనబుల్ హ్యాబిటాట్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఎనర్జీ కన్జంప్షన్, ఎనర్జీ ఎఫిషియెంట్ బిల్డింగ్స్, ఇప్పుడు గ్రీన్ కోడ్ ఇలాంటివి చేస్తున్నాం కదా అది. నేషనల్ మిషన్ ఫర్ సస్టైనింగ్ హిమాలయన్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్. ఓకే, హిమాలయస్ హౌ టు make a sustainable life, because you know most of the Himalayan states are suffering from natural disasters, right? Himachal floods recent times, Sikkim glacial outburst. Okay, these things. Enhanced energy efficiency, national mission for sustainable agriculture, green India or green mission, and strategic knowledge on climate change, national water mission. These are 8 initial missions. In the recent times 2 more missions were added. Or what are those 2 missions? Find it out after the class. Now you have 10 missions, find it out. Then what are the positive aspects with respect to climate change? There is increased awareness, right? Okay, telusna teliyakapoyina climate change, global warming anevaithe andaru vintunnaru. Yes or no? Renewable energy growth is happening in every country, and Paris Agreement commitments, most of the countries are striving to achieve these targets. Okay, technological advancements we have, youth activism and public pressure. Okay, these are some positive aspects which you can write. What are the challenges? Emission reduction gaps. Okay, so what you have to achieve and what you are achieving is different, and limited implementation of set targets. Like countries like USA which is the biggest emitter, is not taking responsibility. You know, if like previously when Donald Trump is there, he said there is no climate change or global warming happening, okay. Then incomplete global cooperation, okay, different countries are not collaborating, insufficient climate finance. You can write global climate fund, okay. How many years they gave $100 billion? Not even a single year, okay. Deforestation and land use, this is also continuing. Carbon intensive industries, we are concentrating on steel, cement, all these are carbon intensive industries which release carbon dioxide, okay. Then climate justice concerns, you know, young people are there, no? What is that girl name who raised against Donald Trump? Yes, 16-year-old girl, right? She raised voice against climate change. So those things if you write in any essay, okay, that means you are focusing on one point which others don't, okay. అందుకని ఎప్పుడైనా పేపర్స్లో ఏదైనా కేస్ స్టడీస్ దొరికినప్పుడు ప్రిజర్వ్ దెమ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ టోల్ యూ రవాండా కేస్, ఓకే, ఇండియాలో ఉమెన్ రిజర్వేషన్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ విల్ రైట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మెటీరియల్స్లో ఉన్నది అంతా అందరు అదే రాస్తారు. బట్ వెన్ యూ రైట్ సంథింగ్ న్యూ యూ విల్ గెట్ గుడ్ మార్క్స్, ఓకే. అందుకనే ఏ బుక్ చదివినా, రీడింగ్ బుక్స్ ఇస్ వెరీ గుడ్ హ్యాబిట్. మీరు సండే మ్యాగజైన్స్ చదివినా, ఈనాడు మ్యాగజైన్స్ అలాంటివి ఏది చదివినా యూ విల్ గెట్ సంథింగ్ యూనిక్. పంచాయత్లో వాళ్ళు మోడల్ విలేజ్ ఎలా చేశారు, యూ విల్ నో డిఫరెంట్ థింగ్స్. అవే మీరు యూ కెన్ పుట్ ఇన్ ద వే ఫార్వర్డ్ ఆర్ కన్క్లూషన్స్, యూ కెన్ కోడ్ దోస్ థింగ్స్, ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు ఈరోజు న్యూస్ పేపర్ చూస్తే ఇండోర్ సిటీ హ్యాస్ అచీవ్డ్ స్వచ్ఛ సర్వేక్షణ్ అవార్డ్ అగైన్, ఓకే. ఇది 4th టైం ఆర్ 5th టైం, 7th టైం. సో ఇన్ని ఇయర్స్ నుంచి వాళ్ళు అట్లా బ్యాక్ చేస్తున్నారంటే there is something uniqueness, okay. So when you are writing, quote those things, add examples, more examples will give more marks, okay. అంటే ఏదో మీకు తెలిసిందో ఏదో రాసేస్తున్నారు అన్నట్టు కాకుండా you are giving substantiation to your answer, okay. Then the way forward you can write enhanced emission reduction targets should be there, global collaboration on technology transfer, innovation and research should be promoted, public awareness and education also should be encouraged. So then we have another scheme recently released is Prithvi Vignan. Prithvi means, you know, earth, okay. Vignan means we want to study more about the earth, okay. So how the weather is changing, what is happening inside the earth and all. So to understand the earth more, this scheme was launched. So here whenever you are studying a scheme from the point of prelims, okay, so the nodal ministry is very important, okay. So schemes is very important in prelims. So 3 things you have to keep in mind is ministry, objective, third one is beneficiaries, okay. In this scheme we are all beneficiaries, but most of the times like PM Kisan, who are beneficiaries, who are entitled, who are not entitled. So that difference you have to know, okay. Prelims matram ee 3 focus cheyali ఏ scheme gurinchi chadivina, okay. Here Ministry of Earth Sciences, objective to understand earth, enhance research about weather, climate, oceans and polar regions. This is what you have to remember, and it is a collaboration, or you can say it is a mixture of these 5 schemes across SMART. So previously these 2 schemes were launched in 2020. At that time these 2 are so much in use. They can ask you across is a scheme under which ministry, or it is objective. They need not expand this. They can give the abbreviation and they can ask you. So be smart with these things, and you have SAGE, PACER and Reach Out. These are all the schemes under which this is launched, okay. And mainly to understand long-term observations about the polar regions and high seas and earth system, this scheme was launched, okay. So to understand climate change also and development of technology for sustainable harnessing, this scheme is helpful. And then this is so much in use, right? I expect a question in the coming prelims from this particular topic, okay, because of so much, okay, importance attached to it. What is this? Carbon border adjustment mechanism. So this is an issue related to, they can ask you, carbon border adjustment mechanism is seen in use is related to. Simple answer is European Union, okay, region I am saying. But this is aimed at, means they wanted to discourage carbon intensive products from entering into European Union, okay. That means simple. See, European Union is a political and economic organization of how many countries? 27 countries, no? Brexit happened previously 28. Okay, so within European Union there will be some commonalities, there won't be any such restrictions. But if any country outside European Union, means a country like India, if they wanted, okay, to make a product and if they wanted to send this product in European Union, which is having potential to release more carbon emissions, then what happened? Then they have to buy some certificates. That means if they have to sell some product which is carbon intensive in European Union, they have to pay extra money to sell it off. That means the cost of import is increasing for the person, right? Okay, export I mean for the person. So then what happens? The product price has to be increased. Then will they find market in that particular area? No, that is what. So why India is raising concern with respect to this is because of this issue. Okay. So here producer outside European Union, so he has to declare in case if it is carbon intensive. Okay. So he has to buy certificates. Okay. There will be one authority who will sell these certificates by paying money. So with this money what they will do? They will use it for European Union or national budget. Okay. So this is EU border also. Okay. So at the border we will have these issues. Then this is the issue India has raised concern about, carbon border adjustment mechanism. And what is its product? European Union, as I told you, mainly it came into force in 2023 itself. Okay. You have to keep a fair price on carbon emitted. Okay. So what are the things included is very important here. You can see here also. 1 second. Yes. Applicability is there, right? It is applicable on these things: cement, electricity, fertilizers, aluminum, iron, steel, hydrogen sectors. Okay, only these products from these sectors is only levied by this carbon border adjustment mechanism. Okay, so India is raising concern because we lose market in the European Union because of these carbon intensive products. Okay, so this is one main thing. Then Supreme Court Legal Services Committee you have. Okay, recently one of the Supreme Court judge was appointed to this committee. Okay, Supreme Court Legal Services Committee. What is this committee doing? It will suggest to implement Legal Services Authority Act. Okay, you have in 1987 under which what are the things created? NALSA, SALSA means state level, then district level, then taluk level. Okay, these are important because we have to ensure 39A. When was this launched? When was this amended? Which amendment? 42nd ma. Free legal aid. Okay. What are the three amendments? 42nd, 44th and 97th. Only 3 amendments were made to DPSPs, right? Yes or no? So 39A was added by 42nd amendment to provide free legal aid. Okay. So this was the main thing. As we have run out of time, I'll just explain these things. Then you have wetland accreditation. Okay, 3 cities for the first time identified as part of this accreditation scheme. Okay, I'll discuss these things in the next class if possible. Then this is Pravasi Bhartiya Divas we have. Okay, on Jan 9th we are celebrating. No, what is the occasion? To commemorate return of Gandhiji from South Africa that happened in 1915. Okay, and we are connecting with our diaspora. NRI Divas also we call. So this is an event associated with it. This is UNESCO. Okay, what is UNESCO? You know, right? Under it we have World Heritage Site list. No, okay. So to identify which are the places with to be recognized as World Heritage Site, there is a World Heritage Committee. Okay, so under UNESCO, and India for the first time became part of this committee. Very first time. So it can be asked in question. Okay, and also another thing you have to remember is recently Shantiniketan, Rabindranath Tagore, and second thing is Hoysala temples from Karnataka. These two were added to World Heritage Site list. Okay, because of this is also so much in news. Okay, these are the things which you have to remember. Any doubts?